Have you ever been part of a hyper-organized community group, a nonprofit maybe, or a dedicated interest club, and wondered how on earth they keep the engines running year after year?
Sometimes for decades, right?
Exactly. I mean, it takes
Sure.
more than just enthusiasm. It takes real structure, a culture, and this deep institutional memory.
Well, today we're not just speculating.
Not at all. We have been granted this, well, unprecedented look into the inner workings of one such institution, the Almaden Cycle Touring Club, or ACTC.
And our source materials is just massive. We're talking about a full 2-decade archive from 2005 right up to 2025 of their monthly publications. They're called the Black and Blue Bottom newsletters.
Which is a great name, by the way.
It's an incredible body of work, and ACTC is a very well-established not-for-profit cycling organization based down in San Jose, California.
So what we realized almost right away is that these newsletters, the BBB newsletters, there's so much more than just ride schedules or meeting announcements.
Oh, absolutely. They're the club's beating heart. All of
Right.
it, bound in paper and, digital archives.
So our mission in this deep dive is to try and extract the foundational principles, the annual cycles, and just some of the surprising human stories that are archived in there.
Right. And by the end, you'll really understand what makes an organization like this not just survive, but truly thrive across generations of members.
Okay, let's unpack this. I think we have to start with the sheer administrative architecture. Because when you look at the index of materials that govern this club, you realize pretty quickly this is a serious operation. This isn't just a handful of friends meeting up for a Sunday spin.
No, not at all. The first layer is pure governance. I mean, the index lists, official bylaws, a formal code of conduct, clearly defined officer and staff listings.
And meticulously archived general and board meeting minutes.
Exactly. It shows this real commitment to transparency and legal structure, which is what secures the club's future.
But I have to ask, doesn't having official bylaws and a code of conduct risk, draining the fun out of a cycling club? Isn't this just excessive bureaucracy for what should be a social leisure activity?
That's a great question, and I actually think the answer is that the structure protects the fun.
How so?
Well, it provides resilience. When disputes come up or when leadership changes, the structure is already there. It ensures continuity. And look at the resources they provide. It isn't just about rules, it's about performance. They offer members tools like a specific ride classification guide.
A pace calculator.
And even a road profile viewer.
Wait, a road profile viewer? That sounds like something a professional racing team would use, not some local touring club.
But that's the point. It shows they treat safety and performance with the precision of a professional organization. So if you, as a member, are planning a ride, you have professional-grade data to gauge the difficulty and assess the logistics.
That's pretty impressive.
And it's all backed up by these consistent engagement methods, formalized mailing lists, online forms for submissions, a comprehensive membership directory. It's all there.
That organizational efficiency is, yeah, it's impressive. But for me, the real cultural DNA, that really surfaces when we look at their internal systems of recognition.
Oh, yes.
This is where they inject that fun and humor back into all the seriousness. I'm talking about the specialized terminology that they use to define member achievement and status.
This is my favorite part. It's where the culture creates this system of internal status, and almost like gamified system of recognition that drives engagement and performance.
We're talking about the grizzly bear list.
The Billy Goat list.
And the highly coveted mountain goat list.
And goat status is a big, big deal.
It's everything.
It is. Achieving that GOAT status means you've successfully completed these specific, incredibly challenging climbs that the club has defined. It's a meritocracy, and they track it constantly.
We see it everywhere in the newsletters. Recurring features like the GOAT update, mentions of new 2024 GOATs, and the annual Total GOAT Quest finale.
Right. It's referenced repeatedly. This proves that recognition isn't just a fleeting thing. It's a foundational element of the club's identity. It makes members strive for these higher goals.
So if status is all handled internally through these lists, it makes sense that the club also has to flawlessly manage its major public-facing events. Which brings us to the serious logistics of it all. The annual Tierra Bella event.
That event, which is documented, like you said, consistently across 2 decades, it is their logistical centerpiece for the year.
It has to be.
It requires the dedication of thousands of volunteer hours. In the newsletters, they track its entire life cycle.
They do. The documents show the Tierra Bella conditioning rides starting months ahead. Then you have the logistics of the Tirabella jersey ordering process, and then all the meticulous follow-up.
The Tirabella report and photos.
And even dedicated events just for the volunteers, like the TD Workers' Rides and Picnic.
The act of managing this one event year after year, it provides the club with this consistent financial and social capital that sustains the entire institution. It's what lets them stay so resilient.
Absolutely. And this resilience, which is built on that structure and these large events, that creates the platform for their core culture, which is all about human connection.
Which brings us to one of the most heartwarming features, I think. It appears in almost every single one of the 200-plus newsletters we looked at.
The GTKY segments.
The GTKY segments get to know you.
It's ubiquitous. It's in newsletters from 2005 all the way through 2025. This isn't just some formality for new members. It suggests a deep-seated institutional commitment to making sure every member feels known and connected.
And that's how institutional memory survives, right? By connecting names to stories.
Absolutely.
And what's really fascinating is seeing how the club reinforces that sustained involvement. We see members featured years apart, like Richard Holterman featuring in April 2024 and then way back in April 2012.
Or Jerome Wool. He appeared in September 2011 and May 2008.
Exactly. The club makes sure that if you join and you stay, your story remains part of the narrative.
It's like a perpetual digital clubhouse where you can literally look up a member's cycling biography. And this culture of connection, it just manifests constantly in all their celebrations. They really prioritize fun. We see frequent references to monthly birthday rides throughout the years consistently in 2024 and 2025.
And when members hit those major milestones, the whole club just rallies around them. These moments get recorded, which makes them permanent memories. The two 80th birthday celebrations really stand out.
Oh, yeah. Richard Holterman's 80th birthday roast in December 2025.
And Jerome Wool's Happy 80th in April 2025.
Which one stands out to you as being the most critical for reinforcing that sense of belonging? Because they also prioritize all these non-writing social events, the ACTC Progressive Dinner, the July 4th Pancake Breakfast, ice cream socials.
I think things like the Progressive Dinner or the roasts are key. They're so important because they emphasize that the relationship extends beyond the bike. They build bonds that survive the winter months or, physical injuries. It makes the club a genuine social safety net.
And speaking of that safety net, community also involves documenting loss. And the newsletters fulfill that vital and often painful function by acting as a collective memory.
The in memoriam mentions are frequent, and they're always paying tribute to those who passed. We see Paul Green in October 2025, Dave Albertalli in June 2025, and then the really extensive remembrance of Tim Ellis across several months in 2021.
And it's handled with such a tone of respectful reflection. You can see the deep impact these people had. And some tributes have lasting resonance, too, like the one for Keith Giles in September 2024, or the repeated mentions and memorial rides for John Kaplan over multiple years.
This constant documentation of human life, it really is the emotional bedrock of the club. And that emotional bedrock, that sense of community, that's what fuels their outward-facing mission.
Right. The club shows this really consistent community philanthropy focus, specifically supporting Turning Wheels for Kids, or TWFK.
And this isn't just some one-off holiday donation.
No. We find references to their involvement almost every December across the entire span of the newsletters, from 2025 and 2024 all the way back to December 2008.
That is nearly 2 decades of longevity, which proves that a core value of the ACTC is giving back. It's not just about cycling, it's social stewardship.
All right, so moving from culture and philanthropy to capabilities, ACTC clearly dedicates a ton of resources to making sure their members are skilled, knowledgeable, and most importantly, safe riders. And this all seems to revolve around their academy.
The Bike Driving Academy, or just the Academy, yeah. It's a very structured curriculum. It runs formal spring and fall sessions. It has modules, and it culminates in formal graduates. This is education, not just friendly advice.
And they cover very specific topics.
They do. They aren't just teaching you how to pedal. They're teaching you how to integrate into the world around you. We see these detailed segments on group riding, accident prevention, hazard avoidance techniques.
And they don't shy away from the difficult, nuances of riding on modern roads. I saw one module dedicated to mastering the road dance with the cars for intermediate cyclists.
In March 2025, yeah. That's a brilliant framing, isn't it?
It is.
It recognizes that cycling isn't a solo endeavor. It's this dynamic social interaction that requires high-level skills. It's a whole curriculum designed to make cycling integrated and safe, which just elevates the club's value.
And this commitment to skills and safety, It demands constant adaptation.
Yeah.
The organization has to respond to all these external technical and policy changes, and the newsletters act as a timeline for that evolution.
The rise of e-bikes is the perfect example of a technological disruption they handled head-on.
Totally.
They didn't ignore it or ban it. They addressed it directly, creating a new e-bike mail list in January 2022 and publishing follow-up articles going back years. They are essentially setting the standard for how a legacy community club integrates disruptive tech in a structured way.
And they did the same thing with ride planning and navigation. They moved from simple maps to embracing new tools like Ride with GPS Club navigation in 2019.
And we're discussing the use of GPS way back in 2007. They've been on the cutting edge of applying tech for years.
And policy evolution is so critical for that institutional resilience. The newsletters document how they manage their own governance. There's the vote to amend the club bylaws in October 2024, the new code of conduct in 2020.
And even debates about whether to continue printing newsletters way back in 2018, they are a constantly self-reflecting, adapting body. That's the key to their longevity.
They're constantly optimizing not just the club, but the members themselves. The 2025 Nutrition Series shows they treat the human body like a machine that needs fine-tuning for peak performance.
It's performance science, but broken down into these digestible modules. I mean, why would a touring club need a detailed analysis of fats and lipids, which they covered in September 2025?
Right.
Because at the endurance level many of their members reach, simple fueling isn't enough. You need to understand energy systems. They covered carbohydrates, hydration, protein, and fiber. This holistic approach proves their dedication to optimizing the cyclist, not just the bike.
And all this training and preparation isn't theoretical. It's necessary, because when you look at the scope of the rides ACTC members undertake, they are truly epic, locally and internationally.
That's right. The training succeeds. We see the continuity of local endurance events like the Death Ride documented year after year, and the iconic Sierra to the Sea event, which appears consistently across the decades.
So these recurring massive efforts are the anchors of their annual calendar.
But the Goatless members and the Academy graduates, they don't stop there. They are constantly pushing endurance limits far beyond the local mountains.
Way beyond.
They're achieving major goals that define the endurance cycling world. We see members completing the California Triple Crown.
That's 3 double centuries in a calendar year.
Right. It's documented in both 2025 and 2024. Then there are mentions of Everesting, climbing the height of Mount Everest in a single ride, and the phenomenal achievement of Paris-Brest Paris in 2019.
It's just proof that the internal structure really works to push members to the highest possible level of performance.
And if those endurance challenges map out the physical limits of their riders, then the international touring maps out the world. This isn't just local routes.
Not even close. We find evidence of international and historical journeys all through the newsletters. They are truly mapping the world by bike.
We see members tackling Alaska in 2023, Vietnam in 2019, a Mongolia adventure in 2018.
And traversing Europe from Salzburg to the Adriatic, noted in 2025. This proves the club acts as a launch pad for world exploration.
But here's the surprising nugget of discovery that I think elevates this archive beyond just modern club history. It shows their deep connection to cycling's entire past.
The incredible find.
Yes, the incredible find from the November 2025 newsletter. They rediscovered 8 articles detailing an 1896 Seattle to Boston cycling trek.
Think about that. Cycling across America in 1896.
And they actively chose to republish this decades-old history. The first 2 installments appeared in November and December of 2025.
So why does preserving 19th century history matter to a vibrant, 21st century cycling club?
I think it matters because it anchors their identity to the deep history of the sport itself. It shows that they're not just making history today through their own endurance feats, but they're also preserving the DNA and the foundational spirit of cycling for future generations.
It makes them more than a club.
It makes them a library.
So what does this all mean when we put it together, when we synthesize 2 decades of these newsletters?
The conclusion is, well, it's pretty inescapable. ACTC is less a simple club and more a comprehensive, self-sustaining institution. It's an organization that seamlessly organizes training, leisure, epic endurance challenges, and the active preservation of its own history.
So the key takeaways for you, the listener, seem pretty clear. First, that detailed administrative structure isn't just bureaucracy, it's organizational resilience.
Absolutely. And second, the omnipresent GTKY culture ensures a strong, continuous sense of community and connection, which prevents member burnout.
And finally, the detailed content offers practical, applicable skills, the Academy, the Nutrition Series, alongside these epic, inspiring goals, international tours, the Triple Crown.
And preserving cycling's foundational history.
This whole deep dive into their archives really makes you realize that true longevity comes from what you record, not just what you ride.
Given the phenomenal documentation we've seen here, we have to ask you, how much of a community's identity is truly defined by its current transient activities versus the detailed records and archival history of the journeys, the successes, and the losses its members have already completed and meticulously documented?
It encourages you to consider what kinds of archives you might be unknowingly creating in your own communities right now. What will your newsletter look like in 20 years?